السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة دلالة، وكل دلالة في النار. Verily, all of the praise and all of the glorification and all of the magnification is due to Allah and Allah alone. And I publicly, I inwardly, and I outwardly declare and attest and profess that there is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped except for Allah Jalla fi Ula, and that Muhammad al-Amin al-Mustafa al-Sadiq al-Masduq is the last seal of messengers to guide mankind from the darkness into the light. Ya ikhwanina, ya akhwatina, today bi'inillahi ta'ala, we are talking about SOS. We're making an SOS call. For many of those that don't know, here in the West, an SOS is an international code, a signal of distress, of extreme distress, used for ships at sea. What this means is save our souls or save our ships. And what do we want to do that for? We want to save SOS from the SOS, as it is in this culture. SOS, ya ikhwan, is something that is growing amongst the ranks of the people in North America as well as the world. Stuck on stupid. Stuck on stupid. Stuck on stupid, ya ikhwan. Stupidity. A quality of being stupid or unintelligent. A behavior that shows the lack of good sense of judgment. I can't believe my own stupidity. I can't believe he was so stupid. Meaning an ineptitude, nonsense, feeble-mindedness, idiocy, imbecility, insanity, weak-mindedness, brainlessness, and lack of intelligence. In Arabic, ahmaq, ghabiyun, jahil, hamqa, wa sufaha. These words we find, ya ikhwan, sometimes in the society we see things and we deem them to be stupid. So when we look at it, ya ikhwan, intelligence is something that you're able to solve a problem with your mind. The monkeys have some ability to do this. The mice have the ability to do this. And sometimes even the dogs have the ability to solve some problems. The question is, why are we stuck on stupid? Why are we stuck on stupid, ya ikhwan? So when we look at the situation, my dear brothers, I want you brothers to imagine a speed trap up the road where a cop is posted up and he's behind a tree and he has his radar gun zapping and he's catching people all day. He's just plucking people off and giving them tickets all day long. You see him from time to time. But one day you become absent-mindedness. And you're driving down the road not thinking anything about it. And you go a little bit too fast and the cop pulls you over and he writes you a very beautiful ticket for $290. But not only that, because you were speeding in a school zone, you got some demerit points. Some of us may think, you know what? He had a bad day, no problem. But now the question comes, ya ikhwan. What if that individual, after getting stung, $290, a week or two later, he goes back down the same road after having that experience, ya ikhwan, and he gets hit again with another $290 ticket? Will we say that this person is smart? Will we say this person is clever? We would say that this person is stupid. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يلدغ مؤمن من جحر واحد مرتين. The Prophet ﷺ attributed Iman, that a believer, he never gets stung from the same hole twice. Maybe it happened to you one time. Now, let us imagine, ya ikhwan, another story where we find that a man who is been delaying getting new brakes on his car or new winter tires on his car in the winter time. As we know, those who put on the winter tires in the winter, they get some reduction, some reduced rates on their insurance. You'll get reduced rates if you put on your winter tires, and if your brakes are good, this is a good situation. So this particular individual, he drives down the road, and he sees lots of accidents happening. Back and forth as he goes, he sees people in the ditches. He sees people hitting into 18-wheelers. But he doesn't pay any mind. He doesn't pay attention. Then one day as he's driving, he hits on the brakes and he slides off into a ditch, which will cost him at least, if he doesn't have CAA, it might cost him $400 or $500 to pull him out of that, which is very costly. But now a week or two goes by. He never changed his brakes. He never changed his new tires, putting on new winter tires. And then he hits the brakes again and he crashes into someone, totaling their car, totaling his car. What will we say upon that person? That he's stuck and stupid. He didn't learn the lesson. And we look at when the Prophet ﷺ, he went on to say, كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. That all of us, the sons and daughters of Adam, we continuously make mistakes, but the best of us are those who make tawbah when we make mistakes, ya ikhwan. So, my dear brothers, this is not the end. We have another story to tell you of a person who has a court date for an offense 6 months away. He puts on the calendar that I'm going to go to the court on such and such a date, and he has to show up to defend and dispute the charges that have been put against him. He may go to jail if he doesn't show up. He may have to pay a lofty fine. That day, he sleeps in. Or, on that day, the night before, he didn't put gas in his car, making istidad, preparing to be ready to go in front of the judge, the jury, and the situation, and maybe he has to go up against the police officer. And what happens? On his journey, he gets going down the road, brothers. Because he didn't put any gas in his car. He's driving down the highway, and there's no gas in the car. What would we say about this individual? We would say that we need to put an SOS on the SOS because he's stuck and stupid. No akal, no intelligence, ya ikhwan. So we look at the situation, Allah Ta'ala goes on to say, Kul, hayastawi alladhina ya'lamuna walladhina la ya'lamun. Innama yatadakkaru ulul albab. Allah Ta'ala goes on to say, are those who know equal to those who don't know? Only they who remember are people of intelligence and understanding. My dear brothers, many of us, and it's not something that is only for the Muslims, it's even for the non-Muslims, stuck in stupid, people doing stupid things, ya ikhwan. It is something, sometimes when I hear situations, I sit there and say, man, maybe the brother, maybe he's just not having a good day. But when he makes a mistake over and over and over and over again, you start to worry about people's intelligence. Are they all there? Are they okay? Do they need some aspirin? My dear brothers, we are in a situation nowadays where corruption on the land and on the sea is in front of us and it's on a camera so you can see it. In the past, it was written maybe in a paper. But now, within seconds, you can find people trying to promote being stupid by doing pranks to people. As recently, there was a person who was doing a prank, and the person that he did the prank upon shot him. What was he thinking? Trying to scare somebody in the street, as some of these foolish youth are doing. Many of the youth are making some really stupid mistakes. Something in my time growing up we would never do. I'm seeing day and night that the youth are rushing to the jail. But also we're finding that the parents are doing some stupid things too, what are causing big catastrophes in the community. And within the last 9 months, I am aware of more than 9 brothers getting divorced and how they handled the situation. And now it's going to go to court and fighting with the wife and the kids fighting with the parents. And the catastrophe that has caused, you start to think, man, these people are stuck on stupid. Brothers, we have to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us some intellect. Check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And one of the things, brothers, that we have to be around smart and intelligent people. And there's a saying that says, you have to get rid of the squares in your circle. Meaning the people that are in amongst your ranks, you have to be careful. Who you let in your inner circle, are they smart? Are they intelligent? Or are they a person that can get you jammed up? And I was taught from a young age, my father told me, if you know someone who is doing drugs or is carrying weapons, never, ever, ever let them inside of your car. Because if the cop pulls you over, you're now aiding and abetting someone carrying drugs or someone carrying weapons. Guilt by association, brothers. So we have to be smart on the decisions that we make. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله وسلم المسلمين أجمعين فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. An SOS for the SOS. Stuck on stupid. And people are becoming comfortable with being around stupid people. Ignorance is at an all-time high. Ignorance and stupidity, my brothers, is something we have to be careful of. You think that education is very expensive? How about being ignorant? How much problems? How much issues have we seen in the community where people have done things and it's cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars? And as the poet says, عَلَمْتَ شَيْئًا وَجَهِلْتَ الْأَشْيَاءَ. I knew a thing, but I was ignorant of many other things, ya ikhwan. This is all of our condition. So we have to, ya ikhwan, understand that stupidity has been defined as having a great lack of intelligence or common sense. Stuck on stupid. Stuck on stupid is a cycle that's endless. Stupidity, a person who cannot learn. A person or a fool who keeps on repeating their mistakes over and over and time again. The inability to make good and logical decisions. Sometimes, brothers, the mistakes that we make is from our own hand. وقال الله تعالى وما أصابكم من مصيبة فبما كسبت أيديكم ويعفو عن كثير. Allah Ta'ala is going to say, and whatever strikes you of disaster, it is for your own hands. They've earned, but He pardons much. So we look at the situation, my dear brothers. We need to change some of the people around us. We need to change the circles that we move amongst. We need to change some of the places that we hang out, or else you're not going to be able to grow. If you're stuck on stupid brothers, or if you know some people, advise them, teach them if you can. Because some of us, may Allah guide us, we're still stupid because we're still complaining. We're still hating. We're still being insecure. We're still reminiscing of the old days, how it was back 20, 30, 40 years ago, wishing for those days. Those days aren't coming back. We're still lying and cheating ourselves and others. We're still not learning the lesson. And we're still not willing to make the change. SOS. SOS. So recently, my brothers, I get some phone calls from people in the community. And I try to work only in the niche of working with the youth. That's where my specialty is. But every now and then, brothers call me and they complain about their personal problems within their family. And I tell them, go to the big imams that have experience counseling. And they might go there, or maybe they might not go there because they're embarrassed. If they take their problem to the imam, or what they do is they travel from one side of Toronto to the other to go to another imam that they don't know that well. And they make an appointment. And they try to solve their problem. And sometimes they even pay the imam to sit and discuss their problems. Sometimes I bump into these imams. Sometimes I bump into these people. And they tell me their stories. I don't ask. I don't leave my house asking for people to give me information. Some people, they give me information and all I can do is go like this. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The stories that I told you today about the people driving down the road getting stung by the police, by not having good brakes, by not being prepared to go to court, these stories are small, brothers, compared to the stories that have been dictated and told to me about what the Muslims are doing. And as a person who's coming from the religion of my ancestors, which happen to be Christians, I look and I say, where is the nizam? Where is the organization and the preparedness of the Muslim ummah? Many of our brothers, we've came from the Muslim lands to here. And we appreciate that when you actually come to the masjid, the shoes are packed nicely. The washroom is clean. We respect that. We honor that. We would be ashamed if the mayor came to the masjid, as in some places in Toronto, or the fireman came to the masjid and had to tell the Muslims, what's going on with you people? Don't you realize that this is a fire hazard? So brothers, sometimes we need some people to identify and then highlight and then put in a big red letter that, look, this is what's going on. So brothers, if you see somebody doing some weird things, stop them. Ansa akhaka zaliman aw mazluman. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they said, O Prophet of Allah, we know that if our brother is oppressing, we know to help him if he's being oppressed. But what do we do if he is the oppressor? The Prophet said, stop them. So brothers, we see brothers sometimes doing some foolish things. It's from our religion with good manners, and knowledge to correct them with the best possible means, the best manner. Hey, akhi, is this right what you're doing? Are you doing the right thing? You sure you don't want to give that a second thought? Are you okay, brother? Do you need some aspirin? Are you thinking clearly? And we're not talking about mental illness, brothers. That's something different. We're talking about people just making wrong choices that if they would have gave it some thought, they would not fall into the problems that they're in. Brothers, I can't even begin to tell you that when we do not prepare ourselves for the society that we're living in and we act with some intelligence. I have family members, up until today I was debating and having a discussion with one of my Christian cousins who's a Bible thumper. He likes to discuss the Bible. He sent me a clip of one of their ministers talking about the Muslims, and I'm like, man, we don't practice Islam like that. So we have to go out, brothers, and there's a lot of misconceptions about our religion, but sometimes those misconceptions, we are the people that push those misconceptions into the society. We're guilty. Bad manners, bad behavior, not practicing Islam properly. I'll just tell you one story before we end. We're not naming any names, but I was in a restaurant one time. And the son of a famous sheikh, he came into the restaurant. And I've known this young man since he was young. He came in and he had some girls from the street, if you know what I mean, with him, an entourage of them. When he came in, he recognized me and I recognized him. I gave him the salam and he said to me, how are you, brother? How is everything? I keep giving him salam. How are you, brother? How is everything? No salam. How are you, brother? He's so far in the streets right now. So deep in the streets right now. His whole family's Muslim that he can't even return to me the basics of our religion. I'm making a dua for him to Allah, give him the salam. And he's so far in the streets and so far to be embarrassed in front of these girls from the streets that he can't even return my salam. This is how dark it is in the streets, brothers. Some of our youth are stuck, are stupid. Some of our people are stuck, are stupid. And the only way for us to rectify that, brothers, is to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us a smart mind where we can do things. And we end the khutbah with this dua. As they used to say, Rahimahullah, Imra'in arana akhta'ina wa rafa jahil anfusina. May Allah, may He have mercy upon the one, the person who He showed me my mistakes and it was able to raise off or remove ignorance from ourselves, brothers. So if your brother advises you sincerely, no money's attached to it, there's no personal gain, he comes out of his time, he gives you salam, he says, Akhi, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you working? Is your family okay? Establish all those things. You need a ride? Have you eaten? Make sure you have a headache. Are you okay, brother? Brother, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Are you okay? Brothers, if we don't advise our brothers, sometimes our brothers can burn down the whole masjid. As I seen one time, I was in the masjid. The sisters were very upset at one particular masjid because they wouldn't let the women come into the masjid for the janazah. Because the sisters weren't wearing hijab, some of the administration thought that they were non-Muslim ladies, and they kicked them out of the masjid. And the sister said, we are Muslim, wallahi billah, our iman is weak. She said, if they don't let us in the masjid, we'll burn the masjid down. Extreme, brothers. Our behavior sometimes is making people more extreme. So let us have the best manners, the best behavior, the best attitude, the best words, and be like the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. We ask Allah ta'ala to help us to walk in the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu in terms of his worship, his manners, his behavior, his politics, and his attitude. With that, may Allah help all the Muslims. Don't be a person who is stuck on stupidity. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So we have to say this because it's part of our religion. Straighten the rows, straightening the rows. Straightening the roads is part of perfecting our Islam. And what we mean by this now is our hearts should not be divided, even though unfortunately our lines are. It's still. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. We ask the brothers to support the masjid and any youth dawah workers that are working with the youth. Inshallah, if the brothers want to help them out too, you can.
Assalamu alaikum, 1 minute please. Assalamu alaikum, jazakumullah khair, 1 minute please. First of all, jazakumullah khair for supporting your masjid. Please do keep supporting.